minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do, no, actually, that's not even true. Hold on, restart. We're doing some back posture and neck stuff today, this morning, and we're gonna slowly warm up our bodies because for most of us, it's gonna be really early in the morning. All right, it's 9 a.m. on the East Coast, it's 6 a.m. on the West Coast, and I just got out of bed 10 minutes ago. So, let's get ready to let our spines get a little bit of movement, get a little wavy, get a little floppy, and maybe not floppy. Spine's getting floppy, that's not so good. We're gonna do some cat cow. Alright? If you can, slowly come down to the ground, no rush. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and we're gonna slowly bring our belly button down towards the ground. We're gonna arch our back. We're gonna slowly look up. Gonna get a nice bend out of that spine, nice and slow. If you want, you can add a tiny little bit of a wiggle in the butt. And do the opposite. Bring your mid back up into the air. Up, 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 up. Whew. And breathe. Let's do a couple of these. Let's do 5. Get a little bit of movement before we begin. If you've been sleeping in a real soft bed, you've probably been overly supported and might be feeling extra stiff. Oh, if you've been sleeping in a really hard bed, might be feeling a whole bunch of tension in a couple of spots in your back, and might benefit from some movement too. So wherever you're at, oh, take time, bring your belly button down, arch the back, look up, tuck the chin, push that mid back up into the air as high as you can, and keep on going back and forth. Once you're done about 5, we're gonna change it up. We're gonna stay in this position where our hands and legs are neutral. We're gonna drop and add some rotation. All right. We're going to take one arm. I'm gonna reach it through the gap between our knees and our hands. We're gonna try and bring our shoulder to the ground. You don't actually have to come down to the ground. I want you to try and stick your arm through the space and get a nice stretch in the shoulder, a little rotation in the spine. Take this nice and gentle and slow. Do the other side. Oh, breathe nice and slow and deep. Chill. Ah, Benji the dog is outside in the hallway, and he doesn't like being closed out there. He's letting us know. Keep going. I don't know if you can actually hear the barking, but he's got like a little whiny, barky thing because he knows we don't like barking. But he needs to make sure we know that he's whining and isn't happy with us, locking him out of the office. But in this show, I spent a lot of time on the floor, and the dog wants to play. Can't allow that, so I have to keep him outside. Usually he sleeps, kind of sleeps, in the corner over here. Woo! How many of these have we done? I got absolutely no idea. But once you feel like you've done about 5, you're feeling a little looser, you're feeling a little bit more chill, we're ready to move on. So, what have we done so far? We've done some cat cows. Forward and forward. We've done some cat cows. We've done a little bit of rotation. We got a little stretch in the shoulder. If you really try to stick your shoulder into the ground while rotating, you get a little bit of stretch here. But mostly, you should be feeling it in the spine. So you've got some rotation. You got some back and forth. let's add a little bit more movement. All right. You might want to find a nice seated position so that you can slowly lean to one side. I want you to not rotate. I don't want you to twist anymore. I want you to see if you can just lift one shoulder up, bring the other shoulder down, and try to get a nice stretch in the side and get a nice bend in that spine. All right. Let me show it to you from the side. We are trying our best to just lean in one direction. We're not trying to twist. We're not trying to rotate. We're not trying to turn into this shape. Just one direction. And let's do the other side. Stay up nice and straight. Try to lean just to one direction. If you are having a little bit of trouble with that, it might help to get your back real close to a wall. Have your shoulders rest against the wall. And then sort of let that slide down nice and slow. This is definitely not the most effective way to get a side bend going. If you want to sit down with your legs out and you want to kind of go like this instead, that will be good. But we haven't really warmed up our legs and I'm feeling really stiff. So I was like, I'm going to skip that part and just going to start kneeling. But once you've gotten a little bit of a stretch out here, however you're going to do it, hopefully your spine is feeling a little bit looser. Whew. Do a little, do a little dance, shift around, have some fun, do some dancey. Don't do anything crazy. You're not whipping your spine in crazy places. You're just doing a little dance, doing a little wiggle, trying to see if stuff feels a little funny. Anything needs a little bit more love. It needs a little bit more attention. Keep on gently waking up your body with a little bit of rotation. Keep on doing light movement, right? If you can do some body rolls, feel free to add it in. Now that your muscles are starting to wake up, you're starting to get a little bit looser. We've been slowly reducing some of that tension in the spine, getting a little bit of movement, doing a little dance. It looks a little goofy, I'm sure, but hopefully your spine is getting a little bit more chill. Pop your hips out, boom, 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 boom. Get that low back ready to move, and we're gonna move on and do a little bit of strengthening work. Hopefully you've warmed up quite a bit, and oh wow, there's a bunch of people online. Welcome. And we're gonna get a little lower down to the body first. All right, let's go down to our glutes. What I want you to do is lay on down. Oh, relax. Oh. Don't fall asleep right away, I promise. It's gonna get harder real soon. What I want you to do is called a glute bridge. Bring your heels towards your butt. And I want you to contract your glutes. I want you to slowly lift your butt into the air. I want you to try your best to straighten this line out. So bring your hips up. And you might feel a little sensation, a little pull in your knee. It's going to give you a little bit of a quad stretch. That's okay. All right. Flex the glutes. Lift the hips up high. See how high you can go. You should be at the edge of your shoulders. If you can't come up quite as high and you're a little bit lower, that's okay. Just do your best. All right. We're going to hang out here for about 30 seconds. I'm going to count 30. It's probably going to be more than 30 seconds, but just take your time. Relax if you need to. Take a break. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Keep flexing those glutes. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Bring those hips down to the ground. Whew. Relax. Part of the reason why we spend some time on the glutes is because oftentimes when we're sitting a lot, our glute muscles stop working very hard. They stop flexing, they stop doing the job. And oftentimes your low back has to kick in to support your back, support your body because your glutes aren't doing the work they're supposed to be doing. So we're activating the glutes. We're giving us a nice healthy reminder what a flexed glute to help keep the body in a nice straight line feels like. And we're going to do that a bunch of times today. All right. When you're ready, I want you to try something a little bit different. We're going to do something for the core. This is often called a hollow body position. If you are more into gymnastics or calisthenics, what we're going to try to do is get rid of this gap underneath our back. All right. I want you to stick your arm underneath, and I want you to take a look or feel if there's space just above your butt in your low back area that you can stick your hands through. All right. If you can stick your hands through, stop it. Stop trying to stick your hands through. That was just for demonstration purposes. Try to flatten out your back. Flex your core a little bit. Make sure there's no space underneath your back. There's no space underneath your butt. And we're in a good, strong position. All right. This position is going to get your core really activated. It's going to take a lot of pressure off your spine because you're getting rid of that arch. And for some of you, this might feel real good. So just hang out for a little bit because it feels like relaxation even though you're working really hard. For the rest of us, we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. This is beginner version 1. Alright? We're just lifting up our upper bodies a little bit off the ground, lifting our chest off the ground, using that to help flatten our spine. And I haven't counted or anything, so we'll just call it here. Relax. Whew. You don't actually have to lift your upper body up in order to bring your low back down into the ground. If you flex your abs, you should be able to bring it down without lifting your chest up. But it is your first time doing it ever. It's going to be a little easier for you to understand it, for you to figure it out by bringing your upper body into a curl, working on your abs at the same time. All right? Oh, okay, relax. It's Saturday morning. We're warming up. Okay, now that we have worked the glutes, we've worked that flattening of the low back a little bit. Try to figure out all the different ways to take pressure off of our back. Hopefully, you're feeling like you're moving a little bit better. You're moving a little smoother. There's a little less tension in your back. We're going to start strengthening some muscles. All right? We're going to get on our stomach. We're going to start contracting our spinal muscles. We're going to lift up. We're going to lift our arms. We're going to lift our legs. All right? It's going to look a little bit like this. Ugh. Flop onto the floor. Ugh. Extend your arms out in front of you. Do a little wiggle. Get your hips into the ground. If you need a little bit of cushioning, having some gym flooring will be nice. Using a spare pillow, a couch cushion, might be a good idea. A decorative pillow that you put on the couch but has no other purpose because it's not actually that comfortable. Stick it under your hips. Perfect. All right? Let's go. First thing I want you to do is lift your upper body up like so. Alright? If you're new to this and you can't lift your muscles, you can't use your muscles to lift yourself up, you can give yourself a little support with your hands. And that is okay. Try not to just do, a push-up looking thing and then push yourself up. Try to use your back muscles and give yourself a little bit of support with your hands. Alright? If you're strong enough to just lift up, go ahead and do that. We're going to do something at this rate. We're going to inhale, come up. We're going to hold and pause for a second, and then we're going to slowly come on down. All right? Let's go. We're going to probably do 5 to 10. Inhale up. Remember, you can push up with your hands for a little bit of support, for a little help. And down. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 3. All right, let's do 2 more. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 4. Let's do another. Inhale up. Exhale down. Whew. All right, hopefully. All those muscles that were a little bit more relaxed are now very tense. Working real hard. Take a second. Breathe. If you want, you can get ready to shift your weight and rest your chin, rest your head on your arms. We're going to lift our legs now. Alright? This time, I want you to fire off the muscles in your glutes, fire off the muscles in your low back. I want you to lift your legs up as high as you can. Preferably, just the hip bone is down, everything else is lifted. If you can't get that high, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just try to lift as high as you can. Alright? Let's go. We're going to do 5 of these as well. Inhale up, exhale down. Ready? Inhale up, hold, exhale down. Whew. That's 1. Let's go again. Inhale up, exhale down. 3 more. Inhale up, exhale down. That's 3. 2 more. Inhale up, exhale down. It might help to put your arms on either side of you to push off the ground to help you stay stable. So you can try that if you need it. Let's go. Inhale up, exhale down. I think that's 4. I don't think that's 5 yet. Let's go. Number 5. Inhale up, exhale and down. That is a whole bunch of strengthening exercises for your bum and your back. Alright? Come on up out of that. Take your time. Do a little relaxation. You might want to try some cat cow. You might want to try some child pose. This is up to you. In child's pose, you're basically kneeling, sitting your butt towards your heels. And I want you to lean forward, relax, take some couple deep breaths, and add a little tiny bit of movement throughout the chest. Do a little wiggle in your hips and try to loosen up a little bit. Alright? Otherwise, if you want to do some more cat cow, feel free to get right back into hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and bring that belly button down to the ground. Bring the chin up. Put that arch in your back. Do the opposite. Round that back. Bring the mid back up into the air as high as you can. Tuck your neck into your chin. And let's do a couple of these back and forth. Up and down. When I say down, I mean the chin is coming down. 3 and 4 and 5. All right. A little tiny bit of strengthening work, and now our spines are a little bit relaxed again. Let's get ready to do another round. We're gonna get back into glute bridges. Then we're gonna do some more back stuff. And then we're gonna rest for a second. Then we're gonna do more glute bridges. And then we're gonna do some more back stuff. And actually, I forgot a portion. I forgot our upper back, our posture stuff. I was like, I feel like we were gonna rest more. Why could I not remember what we're doing? We're gonna do something called wall angels. These are really challenging. And from the side, they're going to look a little bit like this. We're going to stand up nice and straight with our back to a wall, because they're called wall angels. We're going to bring our elbows to the wall as far back as we can. See how this elbow is lined up with my back. And then we're going to rotate our arms so that our elbows and our wrists are as straight back as possible. We're going to try and get into a crazy, crazy, crazy posture. And that looks like this. And we're going to slowly lift our arms up. Our elbows are going to stay touching the wall. We're going to try our best to get our wrist touching the wall as much as we can. We're going to bring our arms up. We're going to bring them down. We're going to bring them up. We're going to bring them down. All right? It might sound easy when you're not against the wall. It is not easy when you are against the wall and you got something to keep you accountable. Let's scoot our butts back to the wall and give it a try. Butt up against the wall. Sit there. Whew, chill. Try to start by straightening out your spine. Try not to hunch over too far like this. And let your head rest against the wall. If extending your legs is uncomfortable, feel free to, you know, what are these called? Crisscross applesauce them, cross them, and let's get ready to go. Elbows into the wall. Try to bring the wrists up into the wall as well. Rotate, 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 rotate. I can't reach, so just do your best. I imagine most people are going to struggle with this because we don't train our shoulders to do anything like this. All right. Once you are in your bestest position, slowly bring your arms up. Keep on contracting those shoulder blades like you're trying to pull them into your body. Lift those arms nice and slow. Focus on trying to keep your elbows close to the wall. Keep your wrists close-ish to the wall. And bring your elbows down. Oh, did that right. You might feel a whole bunch of craziness in your hands. All right. Might be feeling warm. Might be feeling a little hot. Might feel a little tingly. That is probably the extent to which your shoulders need some extra attention. All right, let's keep going. Sit up nice and straight. Elbows trying to touch the wall so your shoulder blades are pulling in, contracting behind you. Let's lift those arms up. And left, left. Let's bring them down. And up. And down. You're going to be tempted to stick your chest out like this to help bring your arms up and down against the wall. Try to keep your back nice and straight and neutral. All right. Keep going. Up and down and up and down. Really focus on trying to bring your elbows to touch the wall. If you can't reach, that's okay, but just really, 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 really try. Your shoulders should be crying, should be really unhappy with you because this is so hard because you're contracting muscles that typically are going to be very weak. All right. The reason why we're doing these wall angels is because they counter pretty much everything that we do when we slouch. All right. When we sit at a desk and we slowly start to hunch over and we're doing our computer work or, even texting on the subway, whatever it is that you're doing, all of these muscles in the upper half of the back, in the neck, in the shoulders, up here, they get really relaxed and they get rounded. So your shoulder blades come apart. All these muscles kind of flop over this way. When we do the opposite, when we do wall angels, we're literally contracting those muscles that you've been letting get super loose. We're bringing everything nice and tight in the back. And then when your head is actually resting against the wall, your neck also is pulling you up. All right. When we hang out here and then we focus on this motion, you're not just contracting those muscles, you're figuring out how to move, how to operate from that position. All right. And it is hard. I hate these. But we got to strengthen up some of those muscles in the upper back because all we do is stretch them out when we do this and slouch. All right. They need to be strong in order to help us hold positions that, might be a little bit better for standing up straight. Cool? All right. Now that we've done all three of our main things, we've done the leg lifts, we've done the glute raises, we've done the arm back posture thing, wall angels. We're going to restart the whole cycle. We're going to go slowly up the body, from the glutes up to the back, up to the upper back. Cool? Let's come on over. Flex those glutes. Get your butt to the ground and begin. Lay on down. Breathe. Chill. Lift the hips up after you bring your heels towards your butt and flex those glutes. You can poke yourself. You can test that your glutes are firing. And we'll hold this for like 30-ish seconds. My 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. Keep on flexing those glutes, contract a little harder. Pretend you're about to get spanked. Go, ah! And lift those hips up a little bit higher. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, slowly come on down. Let your back rest. Whew, let your glutes rest. If you don't have a bunch of back pain, if you don't have sciatica, for example, and you can tuck your knees to your chest without irritating your back, perhaps you want to pull your knees in and do a little tiny wiggle. Optional. You don't have to do this. If you know folding forward gives you discomfort, that is a good reason not to do this. All right? Whew. All right. It's time to do that core stuff. All right, we're gonna lift our upper body to help bring our low back to the ground. Or if you can, I want you to flex the core without lifting your body to bring your low back to the ground so that there's no space for your hand underneath. All right, do whatever you gotta do. You're probably going to want to bring your knees in underneath you. When your legs are nice and long, it's gonna put much more pressure into your back, making it want to arch, right? So that you can stick your hand through, and that's not what we want. So lift your heels towards your butt, and let's contract some muscles. Make sure there's no space underneath our low back. If you want, lift your upper body. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. If this is feeling easy for you, you can make it more advanced. You can lift your legs off the ground. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Remember, the goal is to keep the low back flush to the floor. No space. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lay down. Whew. That is some glutes, some core. Let's move on. What are we moving on to? Back stuff. All right, roll over. Ugh. Woo. All right. We have done some baby warm-ups where we focused on just the upper back. We've done some warm-ups where we focused on just the legs. Now it's time to combine everything together. We're going to try our best to lift everything at the same time. If you're struggling with these, you can always do a less intense version, right? You can focus on just one side. You can focus on just one side. You can do both, but use your hands for a little bit of support, all right? Find what works for you, and let's get ready to go. We're going to inhale. We're going to come up, hold, and then we're going to exhale, and we're going to come down. Hey, ready? Let's aim for like 7 or 8 reps, up to 10. Ready? Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 2. Let's keep going. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3. Inhale up. Exhale down. You can add some fun variations to this. If you want, you can lift your hands by your side. You can use those shoulder blades we're using for our posture to lift your arms off the ground and continue. Inhale up. Exhale down. Arch your back like you're pretending to skydive. Inhale up. Exhale down. I think that's 5. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. 6. Keep going. Inhale up. Hold. Make sure your low back, your glutes, your shoulders, shoulder blades, everything's firing. Come on down. 7. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 8. Let's do 2 more. You should be feeling it. All that tension in your low back. Enjoy the burn. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 9. Last one. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. Woo. That is 10 reps. Oh, let's continue with wall angels. You prepared your shoulders for suffering, and now we're gonna take it to the next level. Real shoulder suffering. Let's do this. Remember, you don't have to do this seated if you don't want to. You can sort of bring your feet slightly in front of the wall, lean back, and do these in kind of a standing leaning position. All right. I'm ready here. I guess I'm staying here. All right. Elbows to the wall. Bring your wrists up into the sky. Remember, our goal is to contract our shoulder blades, contract all these little tiny muscles in our neck, in our upper back area, to bring the arms back as far as we can so that the elbow and the wrist are touching the wall. If you can't touch it, that's totally fine. We're just trying our best, right? Hold that position as close to the wall as you can and bring those arms up. Bring the arms down. Keep on working on bringing those arms back. Whew, that's 1. Up and down. That's 2. Keep working. Try to keep your elbows brushing against the wall. And 3. Oh, man. And 4. And 5. If you feel like there's no blood in your hands, you're feeling like this is crazy, you can shake them out. Take a couple seconds to relax because we've done already 5 of these. Let's go for 3 more. We're gonna do total 8. All right. Hope you're ready. Let's go. Back, head up against the wall, elbows to the wall. Rotate your arms so that your wrists are as close to the wall as possible. Keep going up and down. Oh, up and down. That's 7. Keep going up and down. That's 8. Oh, shake out your arms. They're probably a little tingly, a little weird and floppy. That is 8 wall angels. Let's do some relaxation. We just did a whole bunch of stuff for our back, from the glutes all the way up into our neck, looking shoulder bladey things up there in the wall angels. Let's get some cat cows. I want you to hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And I want you to bring that belly button down, arch the back, look up. I want you to do the opposite. Bring that chest all the way up into the air. Tuck your chin. And round that back. Whew. Other way. Neck up, or sorry, chin up. Belly button down. Arch in the spine. Round the back. Tuck the chin. Let's do 5 of these. This is 3. Keep going. Up. Breathe. See if you can fold a little deeper, round a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Push. And last one. Up. And down. Whew. Hopefully, your spine is a little bit more relaxed. Because we're going for another round. I'm going to check the time real quick. How we doing? It is about 37. Good. All right. You've never been here before. We're doing some back posture stuff to help strengthen our spine, to help our spine get a little bit of gentle movement. Most of it was just gentle movement so far. We're starting to do some strengthening work right now. We're doing some glute bridges, some Supermans, some wall angels, some hollow body holds, and we're doing them slowly up the body, and then we take a little break with some cat cows to relax, and then we start the whole thing over. All right. We just finished cat cows. So it's time to start the whole thing over. We're gonna go for at least another round, maybe 2 if we got plenty of time, and then we'll chill. We'll do some neck stretches. We'll relax, and I'll look at the chat and do some Q&A. I am way too far away from both the phones to see what's going on in the chat. So for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging in the chat. I appreciate it. I'll be back there soon. All right, let's continue with some glute bridges. Lay on down, relax, catch your breath. Tuck your legs in so that your heels are close to your butt ish. And let's bring those hips up into the air. Let's hold. Whew. Try your best to get into a nice straight line if you can. Flex those glutes, flex those glutes, flex those glutes. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. If you want to make this more challenging for yourself, by the way, you can open up your legs a little bit wider and you'll get some extra muscles here in the sides of your hips firing. 15, 14, 13, 12. Flex those glutes. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, drop the hips. Come on down. Whew. That is our glute bridges. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to flex our core. We're going to tuck our butt in. We're going to flatten out our low back. And if you can do this without lifting up your body, great, amazing. If you want to, you can just do that. You can hang out here for a little bit. If you want to turn this into a little bit more of a core exercise, ab work, I want you to tuck your hips in, flatten out that back, lift the knees up, lift the heels up, maybe even lift your chest up. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27. If anything feels really intense, you can always decrease the intensity, bring your legs down, bring your back closer to the floor. All right. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. That is a little bit of core work. Oh, man. Let's roll over. Let's work that back. The whole entire posterior chain, we are contracting all those muscles. Remember, you got options. If you can't lift yourself up with just your muscle power, you can use your arms to give yourself a little bit of a push. You can push from the sides, you can push from in front of you. Just remember the goal is to strengthen your back, and the extra hand push is to help you get into a deeper range of motion, to help you with contraction. You don't have to do that at all if you just want to focus on what you can do. All right? We're doing both the legs and the upper body. We're going to do them all at the same time. Cool? Inhale up, exhale down. When you're ready. No, not when you're ready. I'm going to tell you inhale up and then we're going to come up. Let's go. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Woo. That's one. We're going to do 10 of these. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. You can keep your arms by your sides. That should get your shoulder blades firing. You can instead extend them in front of you. Inhale up. Exhale down. When you extend your arms in front of you, gravity will feel way more intense. You might not be able to lift as high. That's cool. Don't worry about it. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 4. Keep going. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 5. Inhale up. Exhale down. 6. Keep going. We're going to slow it down. I want you to really focus on flexing your glutes, your low back, your mid back, your upper back, staying in control. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. I think that's 8. 2 more. Let's do it. One big breath. And let's go. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 9. Last one. Inhale up. Hold, 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 hold. Some more. Exhale down. Whew. That is some more stuff. All right. Before we continue into Wall Angels, you might want to take a second to relax. You might want to sit down on your heels. You might want to do a little gentle wiggle here in child's pose, where you're flopped over your body and relaxing. Whew. Once you get a little bit of relaxation in the spine, we're going to move on into Wall Angels. Let's do this. I want you to sit with your back up against the wall. So your low back, your shoulders, your head are all touching. I want you to take those elbows, boom, elbow back like you're about to attack an enemy. Pah! Except you gotta do both sides at the same time. Contract those shoulder blades, bring them back, rotate your arms so that your wrists come up into the air as high as you can. Preferably, the goal is to touch your elbows and your wrists to the wall behind you. It's gonna be real hard for most of us, and so don't worry about it if you can't quite pull it off. But from here, we're gonna push our arms up, trying to keep our arms as close to the wall as possible, contracting all the little muscles in our upper back to bring those arms out. And let's keep going. We're going to do 10 of these. Up and down. That's 2. And up and down. That's 3. You can slow this down. You don't have to go as fast as I am. 4. Remember, elbows almost touching the wall or touching the wall the whole time if you can. 5. Bring those wrists backwards. 6. Ah, man. Take your time. Breathe. Inhale. Inhale. Up. I was going to say inhale up. Exhale down. Well, that kind of works. Inhale up. Exhale down. Might be better the other way. Exhale up. Inhale down. No, that doesn't feel good either. All right. Anyways, I think we're at 8. Up and down. Remember, the goal is to bring your elbows and wrists to the wall while you're doing this. If it's feeling really easy, it's probably because you're not trying your hardest to bring your elbows and your wrists to the wall. Whew, that was a lot of reps. We're going to do some cat-cow, take a little bit of a break, reset. We're going to do one last round. All right? That took about 8, 9 minutes per round. So we're going to wrap up after this one. Let's go. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to cat-cow. I want you to stick your belly button into the ground, arch the spine, look up. Ah, breathe. Do the opposite. Round the back, tuck the chin, inhale. Exhale. Push your back up a little higher. Again, look up, belly button down, arch in the back, and down. Push your shoulder blades up, push that mid back up. We're gonna just do 5 of these. I think that was 2 already. This is 3. Look up, arch in the back, belly button down, and back up, neck tucked, chin tucked. That's 4. Last one, up and down. Whew. Feel free to add a little wiggle, add a little shake, flop around, get your body loose and relaxed. Do a little wiggle, do a little dance. If you can have enough control to do some spine waviness, add it in, have some fun with it. And we're gonna get ready to do some glute bridges. Let's go. Lay on back down. Ugh. Once you're here, open up your legs a little bit wider. We're going to get a little bit of side butt activation right here. All right. Bring your hips up after you've tucked your ankles towards your hips. And here we go. 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29. 28, 27. Contract those glute muscles. Push your hips up into the air. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, drop the hips, relax for a second, and now let's try to flatten out the spine. We're tucking the butt forward. We're trying to flatten our low back into the ground. We're trying to get rid of all the space that could exist here. And if you want, you can turn this into an ab exercise, a core exercise. Bring your knees up, bring your chest up, feel the core contracting, make sure the spine is flat on the ground. There's no space underneath, and let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. To make this harder, extend your legs out in front of you. 25, 24, but don't compromise that low back position. All right, we want that nice and straight. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. That was a lot. That was intense. That was our second move. We're going to move on to third move. But before we do, I want you to relax. I want you to see if you can let your knees flop to one side, get a little rotation in the spine, and then go to the other side. Get a little tiny bit of relaxation in the spine. Let the knees drop from side to side. And this doesn't have to be fast or intense. Just let it chill, let it flop. Feel those muscles getting stretched in the hips. You might feel it here in the left and right side when your knees flop over. You might feel it somewhere else, depending on where your flexibility might be a little bit lacking. And hopefully, you're now ready for our next exercise. We're getting onto our stomachs. We're doing some Supermans. Let's go. Belly button down. Hips stuck into the ground. We're doing 10 reps of these. Last round. Let's go. Inhale up, exhale down. Ready? Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Woo. That's one. Another. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's two. Third time. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's three. Again. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Whew. 5. Let's do it. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Whew. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. I think we finished 6 now. 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 4 left. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 7. 8. Inhale up. Exhale down. Whew. We finished 8. 2 more. 9 and 10. If you need to, take a second, rest your back, and let's go. 9 and 10. Last 2. Hold strong. We're going to take our time on these. We're going to hold, 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 hold. Ready? Inhale up. Hold, 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 hold. Down. Whew. Oh, catch your breath. Chill for a little bit. Last one. We're going to hold for even longer. I want you to fire off those muscles. Contract, contract, contract. And when you're ready, let's go. Inhale up. Hold, 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 go, hold, 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 hold. Exhale down. Woof, that is 10 reps. Whew, we're done with those. Say goodbye. All right, time to do some wall angels. Whew. Slowly come back into seated position or standing if you want. We're sticking our elbows into the wall. We're working on contracting all those muscles in the back. We're rotating our arms so that our wrists are touching the wall or as close to it as we can. And we're going to move our arms up and down, work those back muscles while we get some motion in. All right, let's go. Low back, upper back, head all up against the wall, elbow the wall like it's your enemy. Really try to make contact. Rotate your arms up so that your wrists are touching or as close to it as you can get. My wrists are like 3 or 4 inches away. They're nowhere close. So that you know this is hard. All right. Breathe. Rotate and let's go. Bring those arms up. Pump it. Raise the roof up. Come on back down. Oof. All the blood is draining from your fingers as you try oh so hard to reach your elbows and your wrists up to the wall. And we're doing 3 and 4. These don't have to be fast, right? The goal is not to pump your arms as fast as possible. The goal is to bring your arms as close to the wall as possible and then add a little bit of movement, all right? So don't focus on the arm pumping. Focus on bringing your shoulder blades back, bring your elbows into the wall, bring your wrists as close to the wall as you can. Whew, I think that was 7. We're gonna do 3 more. We're gonna round this out a nice solid 10. If you're not at 7, don't worry about it. You can stop anytime. All right. I'm gonna do 3 more. All right, let's go. Straighten out that posture. Elbows to the wall, wrists rotated up. Let's go. Bring the arms down and up and down and up. That's 8 or 9, I think. And this is 9 or 10. And for sure, this is definitely 10. All right, boom, we're done. Oh man, if your back is really tired, your upper back is really tired, then we've done a really good job. All right. I said this a little earlier, but in case you just hopped in, what we just did, those wall angels, focus on contracting and bringing the shoulder blades together. They're focusing on bringing a whole bunch of these little muscles up here at the top of your back in your shoulders a little tighter and closer together so that you can get into this position, right? Elbows into the wall and wrists up into the air, also onto the wall. The reason why we care about this is because it's the exact opposite motion for the most part of the slouching that we typically do, all right? When we slouch forward, these muscles stretch out, they all lengthen. Your shoulder blades come apart and you get into this position. When you're stretched out for a really long time, those muscles tend to get a little bit weak. And so we do the opposite when we do the wall angels. We contract all those muscles to try to strengthen them a little bit. That's why we do multiple rounds to make sure that those reps count for something and you're building up some strength. And now that we're done with those, that's it. All right. What are we doing? It is 9:56. We've been going for like 55 minutes. Let me take a look at the chat while we stretch out our necks. All right. I want you to sit on up nice and straight, and I want you to keep your head nice and level, facing forward. Then I want you to lean one way, and that's it. I'm just kidding. You should feel a little bit of a stretch already going just by chilling, relaxing, leaning off to one direction. I want you to take your hand. I want you to grab underneath you if you're sitting on a stool. I have a stool. I don't know if I mentioned this. If you have something to sit on, this could be a chair, this could be a stool, this could be pretty much anything that you can grab underneath of. I want you to grab underneath that stool. And I want you to lean in the opposite direction that you just grabbed. All right? That locking down is going to get your muscles to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more stretched out. You don't need to hold something. If you just imagine that you're holding something, you go, "Hua!" and you hold an imaginary bar over here. You really throw your shoulder down as low as you can go, and then you lean in the opposite direction. You'll still get a nice stretch in that muscle. All right. So from here, we're leaning. We're giving a nice little tiny tug to the side to help really feel that stretch building. All right, that should be, if you're keeping your head neutral and you're leaning directly to the left and you're applying a little bit of pressure, that should be pretty centered on the left side or the right side, depending on how this video is mirrored. If you have something that feels tense, maybe a little bit more in the front, but still on the left side, or maybe in the back, but still on the left side, you can tuck your chin a little bit, or you can raise your chin a little bit. When you raise your chin a little bit and you pull to the side, you're going to feel the stretch moving backwards along your neck. All right? Sorry. When you tuck your chin and you pull to the side, you're going to feel it moving backwards along your neck. When you raise your chin, you're going to feel it moving down towards the front. So you can control where in the neck you're going to feel the stretch just by raising and lowering your head. That was a much more concise and accurate way of saying that. If you need it, go ahead and take a couple seconds. And I'm going to start scrolling through the chat and see what we got. Over on YouTube, somebody is really unhappy that I am not looking at the chat. And Huizhen says, "Yo, where is your bull bar? My bull bar is in the corner over there. I need it out of the way so I can move around. That's the point." And YouTube chat is pretty much over. Okay, cool, sweet. All right, continue. Stretch out the neck. Enjoy some relaxation and breathe. When you tuck your chin forward, tuck your chin down. It's gonna stretch out more of the back side of your neck. When you lift your chin up, more in the front. All right, other side. Keep going. I thought I would be able to scroll and read at the same time. I really can't. I can't multitask nearly as well as I thought I could. I'm just gonna keep stretching, and if things come in and I see it right in front of me, then great. I will try my best to respond. But otherwise, chill, breathe, relax. Whew. Change up that angle. Ooh, that's nice. Remember, you don't need to hold on to something. You can imagine that you're sticking your arm out underneath you. You're grabbing onto an imaginary bar, and that should be enough to get a nice stretch going. Just trying your best to reach is good. But it'll always be easier if you have a chair or bottom of something to hold on to, and then you don't have to pretend. It's just real. All right, feel that stretch. Lift the chin a little bit, and oh, get it nice and tight in the front. All right, now that you've done the sides, let's lift the chin up in general, straight up, and see if we can stretch out some of these front muscles. For some of you, this will not be very comfortable. If you've spent a lot of time developing a neck bump from slouching and being hunched over, this might not be very easy or comfortable for you. Feel free to skip it. All right, but otherwise, see if you can raise your chin up into the air. Look up, look up, look up, look up, and feel that stretch here in the front of your neck. Breathe. Do a little tiny bit of a wiggle. This isn't a big wiggle. It's just a very, very small shake of the head. It's not fast. It's not aggressive. You're just adding a little bit more stretch to these muscles in the front. And breathe. Okay. Whew. Next, let's do the back of the head. The back of the head is a little bit more challenging. It's a little bit more difficult. So what I want you to do is try and keep your back relatively straight, not to slouch too far just yet. I want you to tuck your chin a little bit, not crazy, not like chin to chest is actually touching, just a little bit, somewhere in the middle. And I want you to start by doing a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of wiggling, a tiny little bit of movement. I want you to see if you can grab your head a little bit, support it so that those muscles aren't working as hard, and then almost try to push that away to lengthen out some of these neck muscles. Apply a little bit of tension with tension. Apply a little bit of pressure with your fingers. Massage those neck muscles. Get a feel for when those muscles are tense, when it's supporting a bunch of weight, when it's a little bit more relaxed, when you're able to squish and squeeze those neck muscles in the back of the head up into the neck a little bit more. This is going to be a little bit different for everybody, just depending on how intense your neck muscles are typically firing at any moment. If you've spent a lot of time like this and your head feels heavy all the time, those muscles might be working a little bit harder than for somebody else. All right. So try and give yourself a little support. I'm wearing both glasses and a ton of earbuds, so this is a little difficult to grab my own head, but I want you to find a comfortable way of grabbing your head, giving it a light shake, a light wiggle, a light, tiny, 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 tiny bit of movement to help the muscles relax. All right? It's not fast, it's not extreme, it's not crazy whipping ranges of motion. It's just supporting your head, giving it the opportunity to move a little bit so that your neck muscles relax. Cool? All right. How are we doing on time? It is 10:04. Let's talk about range of motion for a couple minutes and then we will wrap up. Blaze says, what time do you go live? On the weekends, we go live at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. The 9 a.m. live is a little bit more chill, it's a little bit more relaxed. It's more about strengthening the back, the glutes, and the posture to help undo some of the typical slouchy stuff that we get into. The evening lives at 9 p.m. are Monday through Sunday. Those are for side splits and hip mobility. We work on relatively intense and fast-paced training on the weekend mornings because I don't like waking up and jumping into really intense side split stuff. We've turned it into sort of a more chill, getting some reps in, getting a little bit of movement, getting the spine to relax and move type of show. And we do a little bit of neck stretching at the end. So hope that explains what we're doing. Chanel says, appreciate this. Amazing. All right, I'm going to scroll real quick, see if there's anything I can respond to. Wow, we talk about neck range of motion. Cake says, good morning. Great way to start your day. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me know. Daniel, sorry, says, this live always comes around when I need it the most. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Ah, that's lovely. I'm glad that we could be here for you. Happy Saturday. Have a good weekend. Eve Sita says, this one's a little difficult. I wish I saw this earlier. I wonder which exercise did you feel was a little bit difficult? Because we can probably find you some variations of it, some alternatives that will make it a little bit easier for you to do. And if you're struggling less, you might like it a little bit more. Cool? All right. If you're still on, let me know in the chat. And Zolo asks, how do I do a crow pose without hurting the hand? We'll cover that in a little bit. Cool? I'll try to remember. Crow pose. Neck range of motion. All right. Most of us, we don't do very much with our entire body. Let's be realistic, because everything is so convenient now. But your neck is designed to do a bunch of things. For one, you should have enough range of motion to tuck your chin more or less to your chest going forward. You should be able to basically look a little bit behind you when you lift your neck. If you don't have those things, you can slowly work on them. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, most people don't need any of that stuff. And that's probably why you don't have it. From here, let's look at the right and the left side. You should be able to look at least directly to the right and directly to the left if your spine, your neck is normal. All right. So if you keep a nice and neutral spine and you rotate your head to the right, I want you to aim for directly to the right, to the wall. And the same for the left. Directly to the left. Your neck should also be able to tilt a little. All right. You should be able to rotate your head so that your head is going that way. This might be a little bit hard for some people because you might want to like rotate the head. You'll start bringing it down instead of just going from side to side, left and right. That's okay. You'll feel probably a huge stretch in your neck. You'll probably feel some of the stretch that we just did a couple seconds ago, a couple minutes ago. And that is another way to stretch out some of those neck muscles. It's going to be slightly higher up when you just focus on rotating the head. When you grab onto something, you might feel it deeper into the shoulder. So that's the main difference. And what else? What else? What else? We did forward, we did back, we did side to side, we did rotating. I think that pretty much covers what your neck should be able to do with a little bit of training, with a little bit of work. All right. Hopefully, if you find that that's useful, you start doing a couple more of these, looking from side to side, getting that neck nice and long, and trying to have a little bit more movement. So that you can check your blind spot, so that you can look around without turning around. All right, don't be stiff, don't be a solid piece, so that you have to rotate your whole body to turn around. Your spine, your neck is designed to do that without having your legs do all the work. All right. How are we doing? It's 10:10. I'm gonna just scroll. Oh, we were talking about the crow pose. Chase says hello. I'm gonna keep scrolling up, see if there's any other things I need to cover. You gotta butt the neck though. And oh, there's not much in the chat. That makes sense because I was sitting real far back there, not interacting with the chat at all. And so wanted, do these help with servogenic headaches? I honestly don't know. I only know just enough to talk about how much range of motion your neck is supposed to have and where the muscles can be stretched. Specific headaches, I'm not going to be able to help you very much. So thank you for asking the question. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Adriana says, thank you very much. Marita says, I came late, missed part of the session. Don't worry about it. The live is designed to be chill, designed to be relatively less intense so that you can hop in, do a couple of things. If they feel good, you can add them into your life. You know, most of the time you just have to lay down and squeeze your butt, right? Lay down and squeeze your back muscles. Or sit down and squeeze your back muscles, and you can get a little bit of exercise as you go. All right, where are we going? We got a compliment. Marita says these next neck exercises are great. And we have a question about crow pose. Um, if you're coming in for the first time into this show and you're like, oh, this guy does back and neck and posture stuff, why are we asking about crow pose? What is a crow pose? Crow pose looks a little bit like this. How do I want to demonstrate it? Crow pose looks a little bit like this. We're gonna pop into a little bit of a squat. We're gonna stick our hands on the ground. We're gonna point our index fingers up into the air in front of us, and we're going to stick our booties up into the air. We're going to bend the elbows a little bit. We're going to rest our knees on our triceps, on our elbows, basically. We're going to lean forward. Boom. This is basically a crow pose. I lost an earbud. So, the question is, how do you do crow pose without making your hands hurt? You probably have a couple areas in the hand-ish area where it is feeling a lot of pressure. The big one is your wrists. Most of us are not doing very much training for our wrists. In fact, when was the last time you did some wrist circles to try and get your wrists to go through their full range of motion? You're probably having your wrists crack and make a whole bunch of sounds right now. That's very normal. That's okay. You can force your wrist to go through more of a range of motion by grabbing one wrist and working through that range of motion and doing the same with the other. You can sort of combine it together by interlacing your fingers and then going a little bit faster, a little bit more intense. Make sure to rotate in both directions. Help loosen up those wrists. But there's a lot of very sensitive muscles throughout your wrist, into your forearm, into your hands, right? If your hands are facing the camera in front of you, you can sort of pull back and get a stretch like so. If you were on the floor, like you were preparing for a crow pose, it would look a little bit more like this. You're going to bring your shoulder up towards your hands. You're basically bringing your fingers back towards your forearm. All right. So this stretch, if you were standing, this stretch, if you were palms on the floor. This is really intense. You don't want to go super hard. Your wrists are very fragile, and once they get irritated, once they get annoyed, is really annoying because you need your wrist for a lot of things, like typing, right? How most of us use our hands. If you are ready to move on, we got a lot of other angles. You can rotate the wrist back so that the fingers are pointing towards your knee, or if you're standing, you can stick your fingers down and you can pull those fingers towards you to get a stretch sort of out here in the front of that forearm. And if you lean back a little bit so that your shoulders are moving, I guess, towards your fingers again, just in the opposite direction, that will get you a nice stretch. Again, you don't have to work that hard. Just a little bit of stretch goes a long way. 5, 10, 15 seconds, maybe even doing some tiny little leaning back and forth, little pulses will get you a nice stretch. You got some other stuff to experiment with if you want. I don't think this will be nearly as easy to do standing or seated. You can lean a little to the left, lean a little to the right. You can do some tiny little circles to help warm up your wrists, help get them ready for some crow pose, for handstands, for other things that require your wrists to support a lot of weight. Like I said, most of the time your wrists are barely supporting, I don't know, a couple bags of groceries, right? When you start doing crow pose, they're starting to balance, trying to shift your whole entire body weight around. That is why your wrists are probably a little bit unhappy with you. All right. Once you've sort of covered the basic angles that your wrist can move, there's more. You can do this. All right. If your hands are straight down underneath you and you try to rotate your hands so that your thumbs come up a little bit or your pinkies come up a little bit, there's some more stretching you can do along the sides of your muscles. These typically aren't as important for our hand skills, but they're pretty important for keyboard life. All right. So don't let those muscles get too weak. Keep on moving, keep on training, and keep them active. But crow pose. Let's talk about crow pose. When your palms are down, we want to get to a position where your arms are going straight up. All right. I want the elbow to be directly above the wrist. I don't want you to be leaning super far forward. I don't want you to be leaning super far back. And I want you to imagine the crow pose as if you're taking this line from your knee to your hip and you're stacking it right on top of your hands and wrist, right? So you're just resting your knee on your tricep-ish area, on your elbow-ish area, and you're making a straight line straight through everything. That way, once you've lined up your bones, you don't have to carry as much weight and you don't have to balance as much because your bones are going straight up into the air for you. All right. Now that I've pointed it out, let me demonstrate it. All right. If you stick your elbows on your knees and you get those nice straight lines I was talking about, more or less. My lines are probably not straight at all. I can't even see. Yeah, something like that. When you come down, that should make it a little bit easier on your wrists because it's not gonna you're not gonna lean forward as far. You're not going to be flopping around trying to find your position. You're not going to need as much strain on the wrist. But you still need a healthy baseline of wrist mobility and healthy wrist control and strength to even get into that position. So depending on where you are in your movement journey, that it's gonna hopefully be helpful for you. Remember, stack the bones so that the bones are doing all the heavy lifting, or I guess they're not lifting at all because bones don't have muscles, but they're doing most of the alignment stuff for you, and then you can use your muscles less. When your muscles are moving less, when you're not flopping around, your wrists are going to suffer less. So make sure your wrists are warmed up. Try to find ways to make them suffer less, and hopefully that combination of things makes your crow pose a little bit easier to do. All right? Hope that's helpful. I'm gonna scroll up and see if there's anything else we get to answer in the chat. It seems like that is about Yep. All right. In that case, it's time to wrap. We've been going for about 75-ish minutes because I started a minute or two late. If you have never been here before, on Saturday and Sunday mornings, I do side splits. Sorry, Saturday and Sunday mornings, we do a little bit more back posture stuff, typical things that would help any person who's a little stiff, needs a little bit of help moving a little bit. Um, Usually Monday through Sunday, 9 p.m. is, like Marita said, see you tonight at 9 p.m. See you soon. We do side splits and hip mobility. All right. It looks a little bit more like this. And I'm really stiff. My lower body's not ready for this, but side splits. Whee! Okay. The 9 p.m. show is all about building consistency. It's all about trying to make sure that you build some schedules into your life so that you can show up consistently, so that you can do cool things. All right. Side splits, hip mobility, those are all awesome. But what's even more important and what's most valuable from that show is finding all the little reasons for you to show up and practice consistency, because that's the skill that will pay off in the long run, right? When you need to work on something that's really difficult, when you need to work on something that won't get finished in a day, that won't get finished in a week, that won't get finished in a year, you got to work on those lifelong projects. Those are the moments where consistency comes in and saves your butt, right? So when you do anything consistently, it doesn't have to be my show, but when you do anything consistently, eventually you get these little imaginary check boxes in the back of your brain that goes, aha, I got this. I'm a type of person who can stay consistent and pursue the things that I like to pursue and do the things that I care about. And I can slowly make progress the way I make progress. That is invaluable. But there's lots of little tricks to help you do it, right? The 9 p.m. live is built so that's doable every day. So it's not so much that you need to take a day off, that you need to absolutely recover, that you have to just be like, oh, that was brutal. It's designed that way so that you can come back the next day, because we care more about building up consistency than getting the most out of every single individual workout. We're trying to make sure that we get a whole bunch of good positive outcomes for a long time and let those stack up, rather than get so sore one day that you're like, oh, I'm not going to go do it tomorrow. And then you skip the workout and then you forget it ever existed and you never come back again. All right. Again, it doesn't have to be side splits, doesn't have to be my workout, but the principle is design it so that it can be done a little bit more regularly, so that it can be more useful for you, so that you can adjust your life around it, right? That live at 9 p.m. every single night means I'm here on the live at home, or usually, close enough to a place where I can set up two phones that's quiet enough for me to go live and work on the side splits with you guys. And that means I have decided, hey, this is the time of day that this is what's going to happen, and nothing else is going to stop me from doing the thing that I care about, which is some side splits and hip mobility. Sometimes when you care about something, you gotta make some sacrifices. You gotta set time aside and be more consistent. The more stable that time is, the more you're like, oh, nope, that's my thing. Can't do it. Sorry, bye. The easier it will be to stick with. If every single night somebody's telling you, hey, we're going to go hang out at 9 p.m., it's going to be a lot harder for you to be like, oh, I really want to hang out, but I also want to do this other thing. I want to hang out, I want to do this other thing. It's totally cool to hang out. I'm not saying don't hang out, all right? I'm also not saying you have to do the live every single day. I'm saying I'm doing the live every single day, and you feel free to join me. But when everybody knows that you got your 9 p.m. thing, and it's not just you who has gotten into the 9 p.m. groove, everybody else around you has also gotten into your 9 p.m. groove and knows that this is the thing that you're pursuing at 9 p.m., the whole world gets a lot more supportive and everything is a lot easier to do. So I guess those are just a couple of quick tidbits about how to practice the skill of consistency and shifting your life around so that you can stay consistent, so that you can pursue the cool things that you want to pursue. Because, ah, everything's a sacrifice, right? Like you can trade off here for a little bit of that, trade off here for a little bit of that, and you got to decide what you're worth, or what skills, what things are worth trading for. All right. I'm done rambling. I don't know what that was about. That was kind of a big jump. We had a question that said, "Tell us more about you." Uh, this live and social media thing started because I had been trying to get side splits for years. I think when I was like 15, joined a dance class and I saw a bunch of my classmates doing crazy things with their legs. I was like, holy crap, that's insane. That's so cool. I want to do it. And then inevitably, I didn't make any progress. Um, and it eventually turned into this thing where it's like every year, my New Year's resolution is going to be the side splits. And lo and behold, it's been 15 plus years. I still have not gotten my side splits. I'm working on it. I'm working on it every single day, right? But in those first 15 years, I would start it. I'd do like hours and hours and hours of YouTube research. I'd find and build the best workout possible. And then I would drop off and not do very many of those exercises, not do very many of those workouts because I'd get super sore or I'd get like really beat up. And the next day I'm like, yeah, next time. And then I take 2 days off and then take 3 days off. And suddenly, 2 weeks later, I have completely fallen off on my side splits, right? If that sounds familiar, that's probably because that is how most New Year's resolutions go for most people. But uh, basically did some version of that for 15 years, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I need to sit down and focus on one thing and get it done. And I'm going to make it happen in a way where I will force myself to stay consistent. And that's how the early versions of this live started. I figured if I invite other people to join me, it'd be much easier for me to stay consistent because I feel responsible. I said, hey, come join us. And if I'm not here, it's going to look real bad. It's going to make me feel bad. So, ta da, now we're here live every single day at 9 p.m. Um, Having other people to do it with us, having a standard time that we do it, those are all little things that we're doing to make it easier to stay consistent with and making it fun, making it entertaining. I know my energy is quite low for this live because this one's about staying calm, chill, starting your day. But the 9 p.m.s tend to be a little bit more high energy, a little bit more fast paced, a little bit more positive and shaky and funny and jokey. And making it that way makes it a lot easier for people to jump in, hang out, do a little bit of exercise, get a feel for the show, and that's basically what the 9 p.m. live is all about. So, um, that's it. That's everything. Where are you based? I am in the U.S. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's it. I'm wrapping up. It is Saturday morning at 10:25. We started about an hour and 25 minutes ago. We got another live tomorrow, starting at the same time. Basically the same content, style, back, posture, glutes, neck, upper body stuff. And tonight at 9 p.m., we got side splits. So feel free to come back for that. If you've never done a side split before, you don't want to actually do side splits, you have plenty of warm up and exercise that's just general hip mobility. Side splits is just really advanced hip mobility once you got into some crazy angles, right? So don't worry about it being crazy. Don't worry about it being hard. This show has been super consistent. I was trying to say the word consistent without being ridiculous and using the word consistent again for like the 50th time. Uh, with the exercises that we're doing and the movements that we're doing. Those are the same words. I don't know why I'm saying the same thing and repeating stuff. But the instructions, for the most part, has stayed the same throughout, right? When I do an exercise now, I might be a little bit further ahead in my progress. I might be able to fold a little bit further, closer to the floor. My hamstrings might be a little looser than yours. But that does not mean that the instructions are going to be different. We're focusing on bringing the belly button down to the thigh. We're touching, 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 and that's still the hamstring stretch. All right. So no matter what is going on with your individual flexibility or my individual flexibility, most of the instructions stay the same throughout, and you just have to try your best to follow them to get a little deeper into your stretch. True Blue says, "I missed the show, but I'll be back tonight." No worries. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for checking out the chat. Thank you for hanging out for a moment and reminding everybody to come back to tonight's show because I appreciate it. Debbie says, thank you for all the explanations. You're very welcome. Anu asks, do you have any tricks up your sleeve for plantar fasciitis? I don't really have any tricks, but I do have some quick facts. Plantar fasciitis is happening here in the heel. Um, I'm pretty sure. You can Google that to double check. Plantar fasciitis, heel. If you're not feeling it here in the heel, it might be something else. And you should double check because there are lots of different things that go on in the foot. There's a ton of different muscles. Each one of your toes has a whole string of muscles. The arch of your foot, there's a lot going on. And sometimes Googling for the specific thing and finding that whatever information on the internet doesn't actually help you might mean that you don't actually have the thing that you think you have. It might be something different. That's pretty much all I got. I've looked into this a bunch of times and I can never remember anything about it because I stopped thinking about it the second I close the internet. And I go, oh, cool. Did I learn anything? Maybe. But the big takeaway is double check what is supposed to be tender, what's supposed to be sore, what's supposed to be stiff, what's supposed to hurt, and make sure that's what's actually bothering you, and then work from there. Cool? All right. That's it. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We're practicing consistency, working on our side splits, hip mobility most of the time. These morning lives on the weekends are a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more about moving the spine a little bit better. And I hope to see you again real soon because we got lives tonight, we got lives tomorrow morning, we got lives tomorrow night, we got lives every single day of the week. And if you hit follow, if you hit subscribe, chances are you'll get notified, but that's not a guarantee. If you set an alarm, if you put a calendar invite, it'll be much more likely that you find the live again. And if you're scrolling at this time anyway, sooner or later we'll see each other again, and you can come join in that. All right, no worries. Thank you so much for coming in, practicing consistency, working on the side splits. There is a guy, Henry Vo. I've seen that video. I've seen that video many, 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 many times where he got into the side splits of 40 days of stretching. Is it possible? Um, I'm not going to say that he's a liar, so I'm going to suggest that it is possible. But I think it will depend on your personal capabilities. All right. If you never stretched a day before in your life, you might discover that you're an amazing, stretchy, flexible person. If your mom and dad are super flexible, maybe like you'll be able to adapt really fast. It's plausible. It's possible. If you used to be super flexible and you had something close to the splits at one point, just recovering the flexibility that you used to have could happen really, 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 really fast. Your body is really good at getting back to ability that you used to have. And this will apply to everything. If you did a lot of strength training when you were a little bit younger and you're trying to get back into strength training, your ability to get stronger is going to be exponentially faster when you're trying to get back to it rather than when you built it the first time. And same for mobility. If your body's been able to do it in the past, unless it's like, a physical obstacle, like you got bone spurs or something like physical stopping you, it's much easier for you to get back to previous levels of movement. If, we're talking about Olympic level 30-year-old sprinting, maybe, when you're 70, you're not going to get anywhere close to that level of sprinting, right? But for you to start exercising, for you to start moving again, for you to recover some of the ability that you had in the past, it's going to happen much faster if you've already built it at some point before. Cool? Um, yeah. Is there something else that I was trying to say? I can't remember. We got somebody saying following. Thanks and goodbye. Oh, Henry Vogt. He made great YouTube videos. His first one got like millions of views, and it's a shame that he has disappeared off the internet because I would love to know what else he's working on and be entertained by his videos. But 40 days of stretching for some people is totally possible. The live, this one as it is not designed for the fastest possible way of getting the splits unless you are incredibly inconsistent with stretching. All right. There are lots of techniques that we don't cover in the show that are going to build strength and therefore build a little bit more control and build a little bit of mobility a little bit faster than we would in our show. Like I said, our show at 9 p.m. is designed so that you can do it every single day. If you wanted to build strength as fast as possible, you would not be doing the training every single day. Um, if you wanted to build strength in the muscles that are doing the crazy exercises, you probably would want to be able to take rest days, rest and recover. It might even make sense for you to take 3 or 4 days off if you've worked a muscle that's relatively weak, that hasn't had much training, and you want to build up the strength and control there so that you can get into really deep ranges of motion. Um, our show, again, is a daily show. So the benefit is consistency. The benefit is showing up. The benefit is moving in the right direction, right? So again, showing up 9 p.m. every single night live to do training is good because it keeps you consistent, keeps you moving, keeps you doing things, right? The movement is what's valuable. If your sole purpose is to crush the side splits in the shortest amount of time possible, the live side splits is only going to be useful for you if you can't ever stay consistent. We help you stay consistent. But there are very specific exercises that will make you suffer a ton more, but probably also deliver you slightly faster, probably much faster results. That is a lot of what Henry talks about towards the end of his, towards like the mid half of his video where he's like flexing his muscles. That is called contract relax stretching or isometric stretching, and that's a technique you can look up. It sucks because it hurts so much because you're stretched out and then you're going, I'm gonna flex the muscles as hard as I can to trick my brain into relaxing. It's not easy. It's not fun. We do a tiny little bit of it here and there in our daily live. I tell the regulars to try it for about 1 rep here and there, and I sprinkle it out throughout the show. But if that was your like entire workout, there's a lot more contracting. There's a lot more intensity in the exercise, and you would want to take way more time off, which is what I used to do. And then I never come back to the workout. I would just do like one, maybe two, and then I'd disappear and never think about it again because it was really hard. So if you've got the pure grit to crush any type of training, the live is not going to be the best way to get to it for you. If you got the life experience to know that if you're going to suffer too much, you're not going to want to come back and you prefer consistency and building a habit around training, building your life around moving better, moving more, then my live is going to make way more sense. All right. So different strokes for different folks. Cool. That I hope explains a little bit of the difference, and I hope that works out. I do marketing for a living. I am an internet guy. When I say computer work, I mean it. I do the computer work too. Debbie says yes. Great, awesome. Okay, that's it. Go enjoy your weekends. You don't have to be here anymore. We're not even exercising. We're just talking now. It's 10:36. We've been going for about an hour and a half. It's time to wrap up. I'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll be live again at 9 p.m. tonight, which is 10 hours and 24 minutes, I think. And if not, if you want more chill morning, start your day, weekend, relaxy stuff, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern time, 22 and a half ish hours from now, and we got more of this. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Closing out. Have a wonderful evening and weekend, and I'll see you when I see you. Anu says bye from Toronto. Debbie says you too. Lovely, 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 lovely. Thank you for sending such good vibes into the chat. I appreciate it. Closing out. Bye. And over on YouTube, Neko Panda said hello. Hello. I don't know if you're still on, but I did see that coming. I should have called it out earlier. My bad. All right. Closing out here. Have a good one. Ooh. Rogerio, David, Nicholas, Rodrigue, 4294 says me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I don't think I've seen your username before, so thank you for being here. Thank you for hopping into the chat, sending good vibes, because that's always appreciated. All right, I'm closing out. If you haven't already, follow and subscribe. And like I said earlier, I'll be on again at 9 p.m. We'll be working on side splits and hip mobility. The show will be way more energetic, intense, and fun. So if you like that type of vibe, check out tonight's show at 9 p.m. All right, close.